What is going on, everybody? It's your boy SoFly Trades here, back with another video. And in today's video, again, another thing I just have to keep reiterating to you guys is knowing when to call it a day, knowing when there's no volume, when there's really no participants, when your setups aren't playing out, and just calling it a day and saving your money. Because as traders, our job is to deploy our capital in the smartest areas. And um if it's going against us, if probabilities are there but they don't play in our favor, then knowing when to call it a day, you know. But yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this video. My first trade, so I took 4 trades today. I was 1 for 3, 1 win, 3 losses. But one thing I want to reiterate to you guys is risk to reward and also risk management. Risk management is very important in trading because, say for instance, you made $500 Monday, right? Tuesday, you had a red day of $340, Wednesday, you had another red day of $276. You're not keeping your risk management tight. If you're making, say, $500 a day, that means your max loss should be around $150, if that. $100. Me, I keep it at 100. I right now, with the size that I use, I try to keep it at $100 a day. Yesterday, as you guys seen in a previous video, I showed you guys I lost $77, which is completely fine. Market conditions right now are not playing out, according to my plans. And there's been very low volume relatively in the beginning of the week. We don't have any news this week, so we don't have anything really. We don't have any catalysts really moving the market per se. So my first trade, honestly, I don't even know what my first trade was, but I'm gonna just go trade by trade. So I had 427 calls. I don't think that was my first trade though. I think my first trade was, I think it was these 428 puts. Yeah, it was these 428 puts that I lost $12 on. Simply because I'm trying to find where I got in. 428. No, that's not it. That's not it. Here it is. I found it. So I woke up late and I got, price action was around 7 o'clock, 7:10. I got in this trade as we started rejecting. Now I had to take imperfect entries. I didn't have to, actually. I'm going to correct myself. I took imperfect entries simply because, we weren't, we were kind of in the middle, and I know I have bigger key levels relatively, especially 430. So I was mainly trying to look for prior day close moves. I missed the calls, and I seen this rejecting here. We kind of rejected pretty nicely. Let's zoom in here. Although one thing I will say now is when we rejected, this 5-minute candle did look good. So this is where I got in. But at the same time, what I'm looking at now is we didn't have volume necessarily confirming that sellers were here. So now that I'm looking at this, sellers weren't holding this level. So, but it just happened so quick, basically. Kind of blew below. I was aiming for prior day close, quick scalp. I know in these conditions is a scalpy market, so I just try to scalp it, get a few dollars off of it. Cut the position. Once we broke back above this key level here, I cut it. Cut it like the song. You gotta cut it. So you don't lose your money. Second position, I think were these calls, if I'm not mistaken. hope I'm not mistaken. Yes, it was these calls, because once we broke above, I said, okay, technically this is an uptrend. I want to go with trend, So I was like, okay, I want to use this pivot as like a retest, because pivot points, it's not 100%. Nothing is 100%. As always, I'd say 80% of the time, pivot points hold up whenever we trail to them. But in this kind of market, low volume and rangy, I should expect that it won't hold up as much, but it's all fine. It's nothing but probabilities. That's why I'm not upset when I lose money, because it's a probability. But yeah, I tried these calls here on this break above in this retest. So we broke above and we started to retest, and I bought calls, and my stop was right under this pivot, basically right at this pivot, right under. And once we broke it, it stopped me out for a loss of $77. And then I think I did calls after that. I did 427 calls. We bounced off of this here. This was my successful trade, by the way. Because I was looking at prior day close to get in for calls. I was like, wait a minute. At first, my bias was bearish, simply because, I wanted to get money on the puts because I lost money on it. But then I fixed myself, because I was like, wait a minute, no. What is the market telling me? And that's what you need to do. You need to see what the market is telling you. And I said, okay, we're making these higher highs, and technically this is a pullback. So I want to get in calls on a pullback once we break above a certain key level. And we retested VWAP and prior day close nicely. I got in around this area for 27 calls. I sold all my positions once we got in this area, simply because I knew we were choppy. I didn't know if we were going to make a lower high right here and just completely, just go back down and flush. But we did end up making a double top, which is bearish. But I'll go over that in a second. But yeah, so long story short, I got stopped when I cut my positions right here, because I was slightly nervous, because the market conditions yesterday and today, I mean, yesterday has nothing to do with today, but this week so far, we've been pretty slow. So I wanted to, take my profits, my small scalp. I didn't want to risk it, cut my positions for a dub of $122. But I want you guys to see something really quick. Do you guys see how all my losers are smaller than my winners? I mean, even though I have more losers than winners, obviously, but I want you guys to see individually how my winning trade is bigger than my losing trades. And that's what you call risk management. But yeah, so and then I seen this double top form after I closed it, because, oh, that's where my new trade comes in. I'm sorry. Sometimes my mind just goes everywhere. Especially, this is just a lot of information I'm putting out right now. But this is how my last trade went. So I got a little bit of FOMO, basically fear of missing out. I did have a little bit of FOMO. I'm going to be honest, because once I sold, price ripped. Contracts that I sold made about $30 to $40 more. I'm like, what? So I was like, maybe we'll have a slow trend up to 429, because that was a good resistance point on the previous day that we reversed from. So being a degenerate, and taking a degenerate trade, like I said, we all mess up sometimes, all mess up. I'm still learning every day, just like you guys. But I took a degenerate trade out of FOMO. FOMO means fear of missing out. I feared that I'd miss out on the profits that I thought I deserved since I got in here. And that was the problem. I thought I deserved it because I had waited so long, even on this pullback, for us to come back up, and I sold. So I thought I deserved it, but you don't deserve anything in the market. So I got in calls here and we started to pull back, but my stop was right here at the pivot. I was not playing no games. I wasn't, let me see, it might go back up. No. I cut it, and I'm glad I cut it, because I started to see a double top forming, and a double top is bearish, as you can see here. Boom. One top right here, another top right here. And then we just tanked down the prior day close, and just stalled around. Basically, no price action today. None at all. As you can see, this price didn't go anywhere today. Look at this. You don't necessarily want to trade this, and you don't want to force trades, because days like this are the days that you go on tilt simply because you take, you have losing trades because there's no, price action isn't moving how it, usually moves because it doesn't have as many participants. And you need to be able to identify this and call it a day. I should have called it a day after my third trade because I was up $33 technically. And then I was like, you know what? It's always when you try to make more money is when you lose more. And only when you do it to try to make more money. I was like, I could probably get some more money right here. Lost a couple of dollars, but it's fine. I only lost $60 on a day, but I will be journaling this down because I do want to work on that. I really want to be I've already gotten really good, way better than I was even 3 months ago, but I want to get better at not taking degenerate trades. That's what I call them. But I've gotten better, but there's still room for improvement. There's always room for improvement, But other than that, I still have those NVIDIA swing trades in right now. I'll just go over this just because you guys are here. So NVIDIA aftermarket. So we kind of tanked, which was beautiful, and we retested after we pushed below. We kind of rejecting it. I'm hoping we gap down tomorrow, but hopes and dreams don't matter in the market. It's about what the market is telling you. Remember that. But yeah, other than that, I appreciate everybody for tuning in, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace.